Cimoooooooo!
All right, hey Dimitri. Okay, so what did you do today, man? You got second today at the Pro Play Tour Vegas, huh?
Yes, sir.
And how do you feel, man? You feel great?
Honestly, feeling really great. Just a bit disappointed that I didn't play at the finals better, but I mean, that happens. I was exhausted after a long day, so it is what it is.
Hey, but you have your invite to the
yeah.
Invitational in Orlando next month.
And the round one bye.
And the round one bye. And $300 richer.
Hell yeah.
Not much more you can ask for. What'd you decide to play today, and why, man?
I played Scrap Orcust.
Oh, let's go. Okay, and why'd you choose to play the Scrap variant of Orcust? It's new, but what drew you to this variant in particular?
Scrap Wyvern is a dumb card that needs to get banned.
Sure is. All right, so you want to lay us on this profile here?
Yeah,
Show
for
us the
sure.
Sauce.
Starting off, we just have the regular Orcust Ascension. 3 Harp, 2 Nightmare, 2 Skeleton, the 1 World Wand, and the 1 Gizmek. Okay. Gizmek's more of a personal preference card right now with Orcust. Funny story, I was originally supposed to not play it because my buddies and I, when we went to out to eat last night, we all agreed, yeah, we probably shouldn't be playing Gizmek just because the banish can hurt too much. And then me, being like I am, I was just like so tired at that point that when I woke up in the morning, I completely forgot about that, so I ran Gizmek.
Now, do you regret running the Gizmek, or do you think oh, maybe it was actually really
Honestly, I liked it. However, it's a very high variance card. It could just as easily win you as it can lose you, and I mean, I'm the type of player who's like, I don't know, like, I like Gizmek a lot.
Okay.
Like, it's definitely personal preference, and I don't think there's one correct way either or.
Okay.
Because it can be very dead because you want to be able to get one of each of your pieces out of your deck before you Gizmek. Because if you lose Wand, it sucks. If you lose Skeleton, it sucks. If you lose Nightmare, it sucks. Pretty much the only time I'm okay is if I have like 3 copies of a card left and then Gizmecking. And I mean, if I Gizmek away almost 3 Harps, then just the universe doesn't want me to win.
And you just weren't destined at that point. Okay.
Anyways,
so
continuing on with the rest of this, we have the Standard Dark Warriors, the 1 Armageddonite, and the 1 Dark Refer. And then, continuing on with the unique things, we have the Scrap package, which is 3 copies of Recycler. This card's dumb. It's not once per turn. 1 copy of Scrap Golem for the play that I'll be showing later, and 1 copy of O-Lion just so that Scrap Recycler can send it and then summon something. It's like, most of the time you don't need it. However, there are the occasional situations when you need it. It's like, you really can't play well otherwise. So, because of that, you sort of, in my opinion, do have to run it. Continuing on, for spells, we're running a Striker engine. We have 3 copies of Striker Engage, 1 copy of Drones, 1 copy of Widow Anchor, and 1 copy of Afterburners. The Afterburners was a last-minute addition, and honestly, I could see in the future swapping it out for a Shark Cannon. Afterburners was okay, but I do think that as my teammate Alan, who got 17th with a list that was literally only off with the Gizmek, after Swiss, he was saying he would prefer Shark Cannon, and I can really see that, because if you go first and you have the Shark Cannon in your hand, it's a lot more alive during your opponent's turn to disrupt them.
So you think going forward you would definitely trade that Afterburner for the Shark Cannon?
Not definitely, but more than likely. I've only really played this event for yesterday at the Vegas Regionals, and today, no, not even yesterday. I just played this card today, so I need a bit more testing, but I'm definitely leaning towards that, and I would say if you're trying to copy this list, definitely go for the Shark Cannon.
Okay.
Continuing on, for the rest of the spells, we have like the race card, turbo draw cards, 3 copies of Allure of Darkness, 3 copies of Into the Void, and 1 copy of Upstart Goblin.
Turbo, get in there.
Just literally every good draw card in the game. In addition to that, we have 2 copies of Orchestrated Return. You're only running 2 because of the fact that your deck just draws so much. You're basically playing like a 36 card deck after all these. Mm-hmm. I mean, sorry, not a 33 card deck after all these. So because of that, like when I was playing 3, it was so often that I would just draw a return and then get a second return, which really you don't want because you don't want dead cards. Your deck already inherently has more than other Orcust variants due to the fact that you're running O-Lion and Golem. And while I think the Scrap engine is powerful enough to justify that, I don't want more bricks on top of an already inherently slightly less consistent build of Orcust. So I basically just tried to streamline everything else and just make everything else as consistent as possible to make up for it. Okay. Continuing on, 2 copies of Called by the Grave. This was originally a 3 of, however, I wanted the third target for the engage because oftentimes you'll have access to, you'll like open something and then have access to 2 engages or with just how insanely much you draw. And because of that, there were a lot of times where I'd be like, oh hey, I have this engage, but it's dead. So I kept the third Called. Honestly, I did not regret it. I didn't run into that many hand traps, but this card's really powerful during your opponent's turn to disrupt. Honestly, I like it as a 2 of because you never want to see multiples in this format. And then finally for the last spell, standard 1 Babel, Orcust card, 1 Foolish Burial, and 1 Reinforcement of the Army. Just to go with your warriors. And then for trap cards, we have the 1 Standard Crescendo and 3 copies of Impermanence. I want some disruption, but you also need to play with Into the Void. I want hand traps that I don't want to sacrifice Into the Void, so because of that, Impermanence was the logical conclusion to come to. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's the most powerful hand trap, but it's the best one that we can run, so we run it. Now continuing on to the extra deck, I have, for the Orcust cards, you have 3 copies of Galatea, 1 copy of Longyearsu, and 2 copies of Ding. If you watch the finals, you can see me embarrassingly try to attack with this after I use this effect. But we don't talk about that.
Happens to the best of us.
Then continuing on for the rest of the stuff, 1 Kagari, 1 Scrap Wyvern, please ban, 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Barricade Borg. I don't think I ever made this all weekend. However, in testing, it came up often enough to justify the slot. And if you were to cut it for whatever reason, though, I'd recommend Topologic, Zeroboros. 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Unicorn, and finally for the Big Daddy Link 4s, we have Bomber Dragon, Boral Sword, and Appaloosa. You can bring this out with a scrap combo, it's absolutely insane, and oftentimes what else I find myself doing is I bring it out during my opponent's turn with Masquerena, and if they don't know we're running the scrap build, they do not expect that, and they just because if your opponent's running Orcust, are you going to think to play around them masquerading into an Appaloosa? You're not.
No.
And it's that obviously only works until they know you're running the scrap build, but it's cool, and they got me a few wins like that. Because, against, against Luna Orcust in, it was round 10. He didn't know I was running it, so then I just basically IP into the Appaloosa. Wait, no, not round 10. Oh my gosh, sorry, round 7.
Oh, it's around, whatever. So yeah, IP in Appaloosa?
I IP in Appaloosa after he burns a lot of resources, and I go through my Ding and stuff like that, and he's like, oh, wow, because he basically just only had, I think, a Lunalight effect in Grave, as well as, an Orcust or 2 in Grave, so basically I was just able to Appaloosa stop everything at that point. And then finally going into the side deck, obviously since we're not running a lot of disruption is the primary focus of the side deck, and for that we want our cards to be as high impact as possible, therefore 3 Nibiru, 3 Lancia, and since I really couldn't think of another really good high-impact card, I decided on 3 Skullmeister. This card's really solid, and overall, you don't side it in first when you go first, you side in these 6, but it's still really solid, and I liked it rounding out the side deck.
Now, how do you feel about Meister over DD Crow?
I think it depends on what's relevant. I was not expecting a lot of Salman grades. In fact, Walter, who I faced in the finals, was the only Salad player I played against. I played against a bunch of Striker Orcust or other Orcust decks, and this card is just better in that regard. I also played against 2 Draco Strikers, and this card's also really solid against them, because, for example, after they use their own effect to pop their Area 0, you can then, on the Area 0 effect, Meister it, or Meister their effects to pop, and in addition against regular Striker, it's also decent because while you can't do it in the damage step, you can still, stop the Ray with it, you can stop the Area 0 with it. I just think it's a bit more versatile, assuming you're not expecting a decent amount of salads. So if your local metagame has a lot of Salmon Great players, then obviously you can swap this with DD Crow, and in fact, I'd recommend that. Because, Crow's just straight up better than Meister against Salad, but in every other matchup, I think Meister is so much better.
Would you main deck it?
No, I would not, because Into the Void conflicts with it.
That makes sense.
And then continuing on for the rest, 3 from Twisters, I want back row hate, and I do not have the ultis yet. And then finally 3 evenly matched. Oh my gosh, early rounds, this card was incredible. Against any control deck, if you can resolve it evenly and then go for your combo afterwards, you are more than likely winning that game. This card is amazing in the current format, and people don't respect it enough.
Crazy card. All right.
It's system down for everything else.
So, altogether, besides a few changes, you were pretty happy with the list you played today?
Do you want me to show you guys the main combo real quick?
Yeah, sure. Lay it down.
Okay, there are 2 main lines of play. The first one is if you have just Skullmeister, not just Scrap Recycler, as well as any extender and any card to pop. So like, let's just say Gizmex your extender right here, and then you have some random card to pop.
Okay.
What you would do is, I'm just gonna probably do it this way just because that's how I know how to play it better.
Okay.
Normal Recycler, effect, send O-Line. O-Line summons out token. Link 2. You go into the scrap link. And then you're going to go ahead and set whatever card you're down to pop. Let's just say, I don't know, it's like a Rhoda for this example. And then use Wyvern Effect. Summon back Recycler, and then you pop the Recycler with Wyvern Effect. Then you trigger Wyvern's second effect when a Scrap Monster is popped to summon a Scrap Monster from your deck. You're now going to summon out Scrap Golem. And then it pops any card on the field. If it's your first turn, you're going to do this. And if you'll notice in the feature match, I didn't pop the Phantasmaze when I was able to. And again, like I said, tired. But it doesn't target. And
it doesn't target either.
It doesn't target. So like you don't have to declare what you're going to kill until you're fully resolving the effect, which is huge because people just have to like shock on everything. And again, you can heal Phantasmaze, even though I didn't really demonstrate it the best in the final. And then from this point, you're going to go Golem effect, bring out Recycler, and then Recycler effect. Send an Orcust piece, like let's just say this, and then you're going to link 4 into Appaloosa since you haven't locked into Darks yet, and your Appaloosa is going to have 3 negations, and then you're going to go Harp effect, summon out the Nightmare, and then you go like whatever your extender is, let's just say Gizmek as an example, and then you just go for standard Orcust combo from there with an Appaloosa, and you'll just have the IP right here.
That's so powerful, too.
It honestly is.
And it's even better going second, like you said. That's insane.
Yeah. And now here's where the fun combo is. If you have Drones Access plus Scrap Recycler, oh my god, it's insane. Basically, in this line of play, what you're going to do is Drones for Kagari, and then Kagari's effect to add back the copy of Hornet Drones. Even if you have Engage, it's very important that you add back the copy of Drones for this play. Then you're going to go ahead and Recycler effect. In this first effect, since you don't need the O-Line access, since you already have the Kagari, you're going to just straight up send the Harp here. Okay. And this also means you don't need the extender later on. Or the card to pop, as I'll explain in a bit. Okay. Then you go for the Scrap Link, Wyvern effect, Revive Recycler, and then you're going to use Revive Recycler, triggering Wyvern's second effect. Now, right here, it's important to do on the second effect, you're going to activate the drones, summon the token, resolve Wyvern effect, and then since Wyvern doesn't target and it pops on resolution, you're going to choose to pop the Still Face Up spell card.
Oh, okay, that's crazy.
That way you don't actually have to lose a card and you still have the extra extender. So you're basically then going to be ending, I believe your end board is Appaloosa, IP, standard Babel right here, and then 1 monster.
That's really good. That's a sick combo. I like the scraps now. You're making me want to play them.
Hell yeah, man, go for it. And then you just go, I just get a full line of combo right here if you want me to.
Oh yeah, why don't you just finish it out? Well, you already started.
And then you now you're probably going to want to send the Nightmare here. In certain situations you can send the Wand, but normally it's just safer to send the Nightmare, that way in case, like... So then you're now going to go Harp, since you already have Nightmare in the grave, Nightmare live, you're just going to preemptively send your, summon your skeleton. Oh wait, no, oh my gosh, I'm tired. Let's go back from it. You're first going to summon Appaloosa before you're locked into Darks.
Yeah, that's kind of important, yeah.
As I said, I'm tired right now.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, so activate Harp, summon, then you summon then you activate the effect, you go for the Wand, you Wand effect, then you bring back the Nightmare, link 2 into Galatea. Galatea's effect will be shuffling back the copy of Wand, because Wand, you always want access to Wand as soon as possible, because Wand is your run game. Mm-hmm. People say Skeleton is, but in reality it's Wand. Then you're going to go ahead and... Symbol Skeleton back the Nightmare, and then you're going to Xyz for Ding. Ding effect, attach. Then you're going to go for IP, and then with 3 cards still left in your hand, you have IP, 1 monster to go to. And then depending on what you'd want to go into for IP, you can also just choose to use the token instead, as IP, weirdly enough, can actually be used with a token. Mm-hmm. But I personally just like this being in the grave. That way you can shock. That way you can like shotgun it for whatever. But depending on the situation, sometimes it's correct to link with the token. And then pretty much your end board is this plus just 3 random cards in hand that do whatever. Pretty much the only thing you can't do is hard draw the golem. And because if you draw the golem,
does that just completely ruin every combo if you hard draw golem?
No, it makes it basically where you have like 1 less extender on every single combo and 1 less mill.
Okay.
It hurts a lot, and I'm not gonna try and understate how much it hurts. But you can still. But if worst case scenario is a powerful version of Orcust combo, then your deck's doing something pretty good.
Yeah, anything Orcust is pretty all right.
And oftentimes, what you can also do is just you can go into a play that sets you up for IPing into Appaloosa on your opponent's turn. Which, if you can bait out quite a few things beforehand, you can seal the game if they don't think you're running Scrap Orcust because they won't like expect it, and then they won't have the things in such a way that they don't just lose to Appaloosa with 3.
Yeah.
Anyways, I guess finishing off, huge shout out to my team Endgame. Yeah.
That's a pretty sick hoodie.
Thank you.
Any other shout outs or that's it?
Huge shout out to my team Endgame. Shout out to PPG, I guess, for hosting an awesome event. Shout out to you. Subscribe to Ninum guys, subscribe to Simo, and subscribe to Blade YGO because he's my friend.
The man. Well, hey, thanks for coming out this weekend. Congratulations on second place. Still fucking amazing.
Hell yeah.
And hopefully we'll see you in Orlando for the Invitational. Maybe.
I'm going to try to, and most likely I will be able to, assuming nothing comes up.
Awesome. Can't wait to see you out there then.
For sure.
All right. Congratulations, bud.
Thank you.